Welcome to episode 33 of Cocktail Hour.
Yay.
Yay. With us is Susan Meagher. We're going to shake the show up a little bit and do it a little bit differently because Susan may want to weigh in on this drink.
She may.
Because our drink this show is the old-fashioned, but we are using Angostura bitters. Is that how you say it?
It is.
Oh, yay!
Good for you. Yay! We're notorious for mispronouncing things. Which before we go to the drink, Andy, there's on the forum there's quite a discussion on your last name, Susan, and apparently no one believes me that I've been corrected properly. So, from you, would you please pronounce your last name?
My last name is pronounced Mah-her.
Thank you. I feel vindicated. We may now move on.
That's awesome.
It is Irish, and the spelling does not really work with English phonics. That's why it confuses people.
Ain't that the truth?
We had our pronunciation expert, Charlie, post some links to where we could hear different pronunciations of it, and I just wanted to, once and for all, clear the air and,
well, I could
get
be
it
wrong. I mean, just because that's how I pronounce it doesn't mean that's how it should be pronounced.
Well,
I say Mah-her.
well, it's your name, so I think you win.
I can claim it. I own it.
There you go.
But it sounds richer. You know what I mean? Mah-her. It sounds, richer and just rolls off the tongue so well, rather than Meagher. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, Meagher, not so good.
Not so good.
My father said it with more of, a broad kind of A. He said Mah-her.
Ah.
But that was one of the other options on the...
It is an option.
I like yours better, because now that's what I'm used to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody pronounces it Meagher if they're not scolded, so...
I was scolded by my friend Iman, who first told me I was wrong, and we fought about it viciously. And then Andy corrected me and said, I know her, I've met her, and this is how she says her name. And then I couldn't fight anymore.
That's awesome.
Well, I've been introduced everywhere as Meagher, so I'm used to it. But
you should start hitting people.
It's just wrong.
There you go. Don't do it anymore, damn it.
That's right. Under penalty. Okay.
We can go back to the drink now. Sorry, I just had to do that.
Oh, no problem. No problem. We're kind of fluid on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how.
Speaking of fluid.
Uh-oh. Yeah, exactly. What a great segue. So, I'm assuming, Susan, you are also having an old-fashioned.
You may assume correct.
Yay. I didn't make an ass out of you or me.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet, exactly.
But the night is young.
I'm having water with lemon. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Rev, I believe, is enjoying a old-fashioned cocktail as well.
I am. I had fun making it.
Did you?
It was destructive. I enjoyed mashing, cherries and oranges and sugar together.
That hostility.
It was awesome.
Inner frustration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not much of a whiskey person, but I topped it off with water, and I'm doing okay. I'll be blasted before the end of the show. I have no doubt.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, I had somebody already posted a question. Would this be considered a sweet or a sour old fashioned?
Oh, sour's wrong in every way.
Okay. Well, now I know how to respond.
So it's sweet. Okay. Sour is a bastardized affectation that should be put out of its misery.
Really?
Wow, you have some strong feelings about this.
Dang.
I also don't personally use a regular whiskey. I use rye whiskey.
Oh. I don't know the difference.
Well, one is made from the rye plant, and one is made from the corn plant, usually.
Oh. I had a bottle of Jim Beam that was in the bar from a barbecue sauce recipe. So I used Jim Beam.
That works just fine. But that's usually a sour mash, which is generally corn.
Oh.
Oh, we need to get Susan and Colette together to talk about scotch and whiskey and booze and whatnot. Is there a special booze holiday?
Yes.
What would that be? Maybe
Saturday night.
There you go.
Oh God, wouldn't it be great?
Awesome.
Wouldn't it be great if I
see
could
a
just?
Google Plus Hangout coming.
Wouldn't it be awesome if we can get Moody on here right now? Oh my God, that would be just so much fun.
No, this is all about Susan.
That's
now.
right. She.
I share.
Colin kind of serves as a double mixologist for us. If we're looking for something, we always hit her up.
Cool.
Yeah. But hey, you could be on the line too.
You never know.
Yeah. You like to experiment with different cocktails?
You know, I only drink pretty much whiskey, rye. I'll have a cordial or something, maybe brandy. But I don't think I've ever had a vodka drink in my life.
Really?
So you're a dark alcohol
I'm
kind
a dark alcoholic.
Wow. See, and I'm exactly the opposite. I usually only drink the lighter colored, the lighter alcohols, the gin and vodka and tequila.
My girlfriend's a vodka girl, so we have sort of a mixed marriage.
Interesting, yeah. You didn't have yes, you did. You had a sex with Jennifer, didn't you?
I had sex with Jennifer recently. No.
No, when we were at the con in June, didn't you have sex with Jennifer?
Oh, you mean the drink?
Yes, the drink.
No.
Come on now.
No, I did not.
Oh, you did.
You missed something lovely.
Yeah. Carrie had some though, didn't she?
Oh, sure.
They have vodka in it. That's why.
A drink, vodka, Carrie, all three go together well.
Here you go.
Oh.
There you go. Well, we are very excited that you're on the show today.
Well, thank you. I am too.
Yeah.
We've been looking forward to this for a very long time.
Very, very long time.
We were going to do it earlier in the year, but I had to be out of the country.
I know, you little jet setter, you.
Me, little jet setter. That's me.
So I went onto your site, and for those listening, and I hope your people are listening, it's Susan X Mah-her, MEAGHER.com. And
Correct.
It's all about Susan, her events, her books. She's going to have a biography over there. Oh my God, she's got stuff for days. I'm scrolling down here looking, going,
Days and days.
I know. Did you really? And she's got anthologies and books and a series that, like 26
Goes on
books.
forever.
It's interminable.
So when did, I guess, I'm sure other people have asked you this, and we're going to pretend like we don't know the answer. How long have you been writing? What inspired you to write?
I was inspired by the television show Xena Warrior Princess.
Yay!
Back in the day of around 1998, 1999, something like that.
Yeah.
And I really like the show, but only for the subtext. I don't care for the main text at all. Mm-hmm. So when I started reading books that were, about modern day versions of those characters from the show, that's what piqued my interest.
Ah, the Ubers.
And I thought, I have time and energy and a bit of an imagination. Maybe I'll try that. So I tried it and wrote about 1,000 pages because I'm fairly verbal. And my girlfriend put about 400 pages together and sent them off to a bunch of different websites that were posting stories at the time without telling me. And they posted them, and that's how I got started.
Nice.
Did you start out with Jamie and Ryan? Was that the first? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I started with. And I did that exclusively probably for, 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was on book 6 before I took a break and did anything else.
Yeah, I like Jamie and Ryan. They're awesome.
I just spent the last 2 weeks with them.
Did you?
Uh-huh.
How they doing?
They're doing really well.
Excellent.
I picked up with them on monogamy, and I just put them down with renewal. So,
is that the latest? What's the latest one that's published?
The latest one that is published is it's going to be published in about a week or two, called Lifeline.
Oh, that was one of the questions I had, is when is the next one coming out? And then the other question, now, because I haven't read this far yet, so I may mangle this, but I was telling Andy I can't find where I put the damn question. It had something to do with, is Jamie's mom going to hook up with
Giacomo.
Okay.
Or Connor?
Yes, Connor.
Connor.
Yes.
Those are two options.
Yeah, she wanted to know if Jamie's mom was going to hook up with Ryan's brother.
I would say that I have not closed the door to that, but Catherine's going to have to make up her own mind on that. She's been told what to do far too long, and I don't want to join that crowd.
Aww. Hey, Catherine can always come over here, I'm just saying. I'm all about Catherine, let me tell you. Woo! Mm-hmm.
I should think most right-thinking people would be.
It's all about those older women. I was just drooling over Dana Delaney earlier. So,
There's nothing wrong there.
Oh, man. Whew, no lie.
One thing I wanted to, before we get too far into it, is I want to mention your publishing company, Brisk Press, and you can, folks, if you haven't gone there, you need to. You can get all of Susan's books in ebook format. It's briskpress.com, and somebody had asked a question regarding changes to the online versions of your books.
Yeah.
You know, there's, like, Andy and I have talked about a few times, many times, about All That Matters and the extra chapter at the end of that book. Mm-hmm. And, you know, for I think for both of us, we've established that was well worth the price, to get that last last chapter. Now, I recently bought the first two in the Jamie and Ryan series, and I did notice. It's been a long time since I read the online versions. I didn't really notice any changes in the first book, but I did notice. I bought the second one when I was halfway done reading the online version, and then I just went back and reread it that same day, and I could absolutely tell that there were some grammar cleanups and some one thing that stood out in particular was a conversation that Ryan was having with, I think her name is Alicia, and the whole the ADA, and her whole manner of conversing, the language that she used really changed, and I thought that change was really, really good. Okay. It seemed more fitting with someone of her stature. You know what I mean?
Right. That's always been my problem. My natural tendency is to write like the nuns forced me to write when I was a wee Wayne. And I had very strict
Excuse me, I'm choking on the drink here.
I had very strict German-born nuns who made us all write like it was the 18th century.
Oh, damn.
So my natural tendency is to write very formally. And that's just stupid sounding. So the online versions of the books at first were me unedited completely. So I didn't have anybody saying, "What are you, stupid?" So over the years, I've had a variety of editors who have said basically that I'm stupid. And I've tried to... as I learn more, I tried to refine the way that I write and my style. So hopefully I'm getting better. And what I just did the last couple of weeks in doing the run-up to the next book is I like to go back at least 5 or 6 books and read it very carefully. And every time I do it, I make 1,000 changes, literally 1,000 changes.
Wow.
And I know if I did it again tomorrow, if I started again tomorrow, I would do exactly the same thing.
Are there, so in the Jamie and Ryan series, the San Francisco series, are there extras that you're adding in addition to cleanup? Okay.
No, I was always tempted to, but then I didn't think I thought it would be more trouble than it might be of benefit.
Those stories are so detailed. Yeah. I imagine it would be
Am I going to add more detail? I think not. There is no more detail to be had. No, what I try to do is just smooth out the language.
Okay.
I thought here and there, this could use a little more. And if it's just a little more, I'll go ahead and do it. But I don't want the people who only read online to miss something that in any way is major, is of major importance. That's sort of, I don't want to screw with that.
Wow.
So I try to just make it nicer. I don't feel the same way about the standalone novels. In the beginning, I posted them online and got feedback, etc. And then I would publish them. I no longer post them online. So I don't have the issue of whether or not to add additional material.
I just had one last question about the Jamie and Ryan one, because it's such a long series and they they go through so much. Is there anything major that you would change in the first few books, either about about Jamie and Ryan or about another plot arc that something that you would go, that you, if you had to do it over from the very beginning, that you would?
I would probably tone down in the first book a little bit of the Ryan being so heroic. I like her. I like her.
She was, she was perfect in every way.
Part of that was intentional in that I wanted her to be seen from Jamie's point of view. And definitely in the first book, even if it's not, syntax-wise from Jamie's point of view, it is concept-wise.
I hadn't thought about that. Okay.
Yeah, she really did look at Ryan as some sort of superhuman heroine type who would save her from whatever mistakes she would be prone to make on her own. But I think I would tone that down if I were to do it again. I like Ryan better when she's able to show more of herself and her more fragile side. But not a whole lot. I mean, she is kind of vaguely superhuman.
Yeah, little touch of overachievement in there.
Yeah, her achievements are a little scary.
I wish I had half that damn energy. That's all I'm saying. I'm melting that fat away.
I modeled her after a couple of athletes I used to follow at UCLA and at Cal. There were 2 or 3 women who were really wonderful athletes, and several of them participated in 2 or 3 sports at the same time. Wow. It was not that odd. And one of them also had a really high GPA at the same time. So, yeah. It's possible. You just have to have a lot of energy.
Well, do you model many of your characters after people that you come in contact or have known over the years?
I think it's impossible not to. If you're going to try for realistic characters, they have to have realistic traits, and those have to come from humanoids.
Yeah.
It's the only way I know how to do it, at least. So I would say that they're not, it's not a thinly disguised, oh, this is my friend, Mary.
Right.
But there'll be elements of people that I've known, sure.
I noticed you have a thing for hair. All your characters really like hair. I love your hair. You have great hair. I love your hair.
Who doesn't like great hair?
Maybe I've just read too much of your work over the last few weeks. But yeah.
Oh, that's not possible. Hair. You can never read enough, Susan. Never.
Well, I've read I think 4 books in the last 2 weeks. So yeah, I've read a lot.
Which ones did you pick up and reread?
I read the first of the. I reread Awakenings. Okay. I read half of Beginnings, and then I had to put them away. And then I read The Lies That Bind and The Legacy. I guess those are the ones that I read.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
it is a lot. And I have to say, and I think I'm really in the minority here, because everybody else I talk to, they love Jamie and Ryan. Jamie and Ryan, they don't really. I got half. I think I got a few chapters in through disclosures. Don't get me wrong, Coalescence was awesome. But those I'm not big on. I have a hard time with series because they don't hold my attention. But I really enjoy. I like your standalones more. Mm-hmm. For me. I mean, All That Matters is one of my very favorite stories. And The Lies That Bind, I really like that one, except for the ending. I really felt like there was too much just left unresolved. The mom relationship, their relationship, well, not so much their relationship, but more of the familial type stuff, and how she gets out of the medical practice and stuff like that. And actually, someone else had mentioned that that they felt kind of the same way about Cherry Grove, which was one of the other ones I was going to reread, and I didn't have time to get to it, so I don't remember what the ending was. But have you heard that from people?
I've heard that from a couple people, and I understand. I really do understand. People would like things more resolved. But in both of those cases, I didn't think the relationships were resolvable in the short term. I thought that they had changed so dramatically that things weren't ever going to be the same. And whatever came out of the relationship afterwards wasn't something I could summarize. So it seemed better to just say, yeah, this is kind of broken.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I think for the Lies That Bind, the relationship, and it's Erin's relationship with her mom.
Yeah, it's screwed up.
it is screwed up, and we, as the book progresses, we learn just how screwed up it really is. And that was kind of an interesting switch that you did too, between Katie's relationship with her dad and leading us to believe that is totally fucked, and Erin and Gail, and they're this great happy family, and they trust each other, they rely on each other, they have this great relationship, and there's this total turnaround at the end. I think for me it was, there was so much time invested in Erin and Gail's relationship in the book, right? That just to leave it like that. I understand what you're saying, and I hadn't thought about it. I guess if I'd given myself a bit more time to really think about it, maybe I would have come up with that. But I mean that does make sense.
Well, I think I'm not certain that I do this differently than other people, but I know a lot of people like to tie up all the loose ends, and I don't feel that need.
No, I don't like that. I'm not somebody that enjoys that.
Yeah.
I want to be able to use my imagination, but usually it's with what happens with the two main characters. It just. So do you now? Andy said that you don't do sequels to your standalone.
I'm not.
Do you plan to?
I figured 26 or 25 sequels to Awakenings is gonna scratch that itch as much as I need it scratched.
Yeah, well, I even resorted to begging. I'm like, are you sure you can't write a sequel to All That Matters, please? And she just looked at me.
What about an anthology of short, little snippets?
Like revisits of her characters?
But to be honest, I said this to my fiancé just the other day. I have never reread one of my books.
Well, you should. You need to reread All That Matters, because it's totally worth it.
Yeah, it's really worth it. You should read it.
Well, I feel like it's in me. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I experienced it. I feel like I experienced it during the time that I wrote it. And once that time is over, that it's fixed in that spot in my brain and in my heart, for that matter. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like going back to a relationship. You can't really ever go back.
But it was such a good relationship.
It is. It is. But no, to me, they're just happy. Yeah. So I don't. It's truly as though I have nothing else to say. Once they get to the happy part, and they're content, and they don't think that they have any other big things that they have to surmount right then, I'm really content. And clearly, it's all about me. So
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all about Susan.
It's all about me.
Which is fine. Yeah, I get that.
But see, that's why I did the Jamie and Ryan series, because I have a completely different perspective on that. For me, there's not much going on at all. It's just the day-to-day, how people struggle to have a good relationship. Yeah. It's all about the little things.
I think that, honestly, I think that's a theme that runs through all of your work. I mean, that I've read. I'm
not heavy on plot.
just finishing the legacy, and they're really, even though there's angst and some drama going on in there, there's really not any major event or anything like that. Yeah,
they're like slice of life books.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I have a good friend who continues to read my work, even though at the end of every one she's like, "Dude, nothing happens." Like, yeah, I know.
It's kind of like this. You're the Seinfeld of.
Yes, these are Seinfeld books. The books about nothing. But see, I think if you're going to write a romance, the whole point is the romance. So for me, as long as I can show how the people are attracted to one another, what makes them pull together, what makes them pull apart, what makes them finally resolve to do whatever they have to do to stay together, that's compelling to me. And that's why I write them.
Well,
if somebody wants, mayhem, murder, and that kind of thing, I truly have no ideas about how to write that. It doesn't interest me. I have zero ideas. So my plot, very, very light, very light.
It's nice for a nice, relaxing, weekend read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not something you're going to have to stay up and finish.
Yeah, well, most of your books, though, when I read them, you're able to craft your words so well and draw people in that, I personally have a hard time putting down your books.
Well, good.
Because I like to finish them once I start them.
But you never have to finish them thinking, I don't know who's going to be alive at the end of the next
chapter.
Well,
that's true, too, yeah.
And you know what you should do? You should totally fuck people up and just throw something in the middle like that. That would be awesome. Exactly.
Like kill off a main character.
Actually, I have a book in the back of my head. It's been in the back of my head for 10 years, where one of the two of the main characters dies in about the third of the way in.
Oh, Lordy.
So awesome. I would buy it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'd buy it and give it out to friends. just to fuck with them. Hey, check this out. Susan's best. Oh, my God. But I have to admit, though, I like your earlier work more so than your more recent work.
Oh.
I think it's because the earlier work, it just seemed... No, I love all your work now. I love it all now. Come on. But I think the earlier stuff, it seemed to be more of it. It's like...
Of it.
It's more descriptive, more meaty, more of it. But the more recent stuff seems to be... a lot sharper edited, maybe that's what it is. Like it's a little crisper, it's a little faster to the point.
Yeah,
whereas
I definitely do have people urging me to shut the fuck up, so maybe that's it.
Well, I don't want to tell you to shut the fuck up, but I enjoy the later books better.
See?
Yeah, I find myself skimming a lot on the older stuff. Yeah, I mean, I love a long story, but.
You'd rather there were things happening to make it long.
Exactly. Yeah.
I can tell what kind of reader you are. You actually want stuff to happen.
I like stuff to happen. Yeah. But the yeah. I mean, I do like I guess I'm kind of torn. I mean, I do like the older stuff. Like All That Matters and Arbor Vitae and. Everything else is slipping my mind right now. This damn drink is kicking in.
Well, that is the two oldest of them.
The Legacy, The Lies That Bind, Double Crossed.
No, Double Crossed. That one took me a little bit to get into.
Really?
I think
one
it
of the
was.
Characters was kind of.
She was kind of the I can't remember any of the names now, but the one that was cheating, with the
Not cheating.
well, she was cheating. No, she was cheating because she wasn't sleeping around within the agreement. Right? Wasn't that the issue?
Are you talking about the one who got broken up with, or the one who stayed?
The one who left to be with the other chick's girlfriend. The businesswoman who
oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't remember enough to really comment about it, but I remember
she was pretty bitchy.
She was just so devious, and I didn't like her, but it ended well. I like the way it ended.
But it ended well.
That's
awesome.
I did want to ask you. I think Cherry Grove. Is that the only book that you have out that's in first person?
Yes.
Did you make a conscious choice? I mean, I'm sure that you did make a conscious choice to do that, but
it's easier for me to do short stories in first person. But I wanted to try to do novel length in first.
Wow.
And I really enjoyed doing that, but it is a lot harder.
Yeah, I can imagine.
A lot harder.
Yeah.
Actually.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine it would be.
In a short story, it makes it a lot easier. But
because you can focus more on just that one individual and not so much.
You don't have to. You can tell people more in a short story. But if you're trying to let things develop, it's difficult to do it in first person because you can't ever be in the other person's head.
Right.
And only seeing that person from one person's perspective it can be dry. Or you're guessing at everything, and that could be frustrating. Yeah. But I thought it worked for that because the character who didn't speak as much also didn't speak as much. So part of her allure was the fact that she wasn't that verbal, and she was more of an actor than a thinker.
And she was much more about discovering who she really was anyway. Yeah. So we got to discover that right along with the other character.
The person who's doing the most change, I think, needs to have the floor. So for me, Hayden was the one who had the huge amount of change. So having it be from her perspective made sense.
Yeah, it does.
Gina didn't change a lot. She was open to making tweaks here and there, but she was pretty much who she was at the end as she was at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And it was about Hayden and us. Her unfolding about
discovery.
Right.
And learning to care more about herself and to be more open and to risk a little bit.
In The Lies That Bind, I laughed out loud several times in that book. There was some really great humor in there.
Yep.
One passage that I noted is Aaron and Katie are talking about nicknames. Katie wants to give Aaron a nickname.
Oh, right.
And they're talking about it's good to go with a trait that you have, and Katie says something like, you don't have any traits that jump out at me. And Aaron says, not one, sounding offended. And Katie says, well, there's beautiful and lovely and pretty and smart and clever and thoughtful and sweet, but those aren't good nicknames. I'm looking for something like Curly or Stumpy or One Eye, something obvious.
And that's when she said she thought she could be Doc, but Katie said, you can't be Doc if you're really a doctor, you idiot.
But only if you're not a doctor and you give out really bad medical advice.
Right, then it makes sense.
That's too obvious. I didn't see that kind of humor in a lot of your other work.
Maybe it depends on how humor-filled I'm feeling at any particular time.
Well,
maybe
sometimes I'm morose.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of really fun, dry humor in All That Matters.
You're right,
especially when the little the nieces, I guess it was, at the
nephew Kevin
at the Mackenzie's parents' house,
right?
Oh, and all the little kids storm into the room and they have a pillow fight. It's awesome,
right?
And those kids are just so cute. They're so precocious.
Precocious little devils.
But yeah,
I would say clearly my humor is pretty dry, but it can also be a little obvious, depending on how I'm feeling. But
Yeah.
I try to make them funny. I think they're funny.
Yeah.
And I guess it depends on the character's personality. I mean, Katie has a very outgoing, kind of dry, cutting sense of humor type personality.
Katie might be my favorite character.
Really?
Yeah, she might be.
Oh, I like Dr. Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be with Dr. Mackenzie, but Katie might be one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, I want Mackenzie's phone number. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, she just looks like she'd be fun.
Yeah.
Fun's good.
Yeah, fun is very good.
Well, Andy, I've dominated. What do you got?
Yeah, well, I've been sneaking in, kind of like the silent but deadly girl. I've been sneaking in there. I just can't believe I didn't buy nor have I read Double Crossed. It occurred to me during this conversation, I'm like, what? I missed one? Damn it!
I'll send it to you.
Really?
I have a copy in my very house I will send to you.
Oh, thank you.
Send me your snail mail and I'll send it to you.
Will do. Thanks.
Wow.
My pleasure.
I'll buy you a drink when we see each other.
I'm only slightly jealous.
What?
What would you like, Rev?
I would like a copy of your new book. Can you tell us about it?
Let's see. What is my new book? My new book, I keep thinking it's Smooth Sailing, but that's not my new book.
Nope.
No.
That's now my old book. My new book is called Sound Check. And the reason it took me a minute to pull that out of my butt is because I changed the name.
Didn't it used to be something about wrangling?
Yeah, it was called How to Wrangle a Woman.
Yeah, because we were expecting, Western.
That's why I changed the name.
Aw. What's wrong with a Western, damn it?
It weren't about that.
It weren't about that?
Weren't about that. And someone pointed out to me that if people bought the book hoping it was a Western and it was set, in fact, in Manhattan, there were no cowpokes.
No dude ranches, huh?
No dude ranches that they might be miffed. So I tended to agree. So I changed it. The book is about a stand-up comedian, and she has a daytime gig that is killing her. She's on the equivalent of a cross between Howard Stern and Don Imus show. And it's at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Ew.
And stand-up comedians do not tend to show their full colors at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Would imagine anybody would.
Yeah, so it's really difficult for her. And she's screwing up a bit, drinking too much, and drinking too much. And they're threatening to send her to rehab or to fire her. She's missed a couple of days of work, and that just does not go over well in show business. So they hire a wrangler, a talent wrangler for her, a babysitter.
Oh, there's the wrangler.
How to wrangle a woman.
Yeah.
So she gets wrangled very well. And it's all about how these two characters learn to kind of see the benefits to each other. Because at first they're not fond of one another.
No, I can imagine they wouldn't be.
Yeah, because nobody really wants somebody to tell them when to go to bed and when to get up.
And don't have that fifth drink. Yeah, I get it.
And the people who do that tend to think that the people they work for are assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That leads to a lot of good tension, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I tried not to make it too stereotypical in terms of tension. I could have made it much broader. But as my friend who reads my work says, you're too subtle, dude. So maybe I am, but that's all I can get away with. So I hope there's plenty of tension. And they, over time, this might surprise you, fall in love.
No.
Speaking of total shocks, did you hear about Christy McNichol?
Yes.
Never saw that one coming.
Oh, please, right? I wondered why I had such a big old crush on her when, I was, 10? She was on TV with that series.
She was such a cute little girl.
Oh, my
That was
gosh.
such a good show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting for Nancy McKeon now.
Yeah, we're waiting for her.
I think you're going to have to wait a while.
Yeah.
I do too. She's fighting it hard.
If you're not
getting
doing
married
it,
and having kids. Yeah.
She's in denial, damn it.
I think she is. She's, what it is.
That's
is
when
she
you're
found,
digging your heels in.
she found out I got married and, just decided, you know what? There's no point now.
Why not? Really?
I'm just gonna stick with
If
Dick.
I can't have her, I might as well stick with him.
Oh, speaking of Dick, you have a lot of Dick in your books.
What?
In the earlier ones.
In a good way?
Well, I mean, it doesn't bother me at all, but...
Oh, you mean penises?
Yes. There's quite a lot of penis action in your books. And Andy said something about you had a reason for that.
Do I?
You had mentioned to me at the con that you like to, do things that are unexpected, shake up the mix, that, you want to write for you and not necessarily...
I definitely, write for me.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that I don't avoid doing something that I think will upset people. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
and it should be that way.
I don't do it to upset people, but if you're going to get upset by me saying who I think these people are, you're just going to have to be upset.
Mm-hmm.
It did seem more. It seemed more genuine, and it didn't seem gratuitous or anything like that. In the two books that I'm thinking of, All That Matters and Awakenings,
right.
It really, I think if it hadn't, especially in either of them, if you hadn't had the descriptions of the sex between Jamie and Jack and Blair and David, I don't think that it would have been. I don't think that I mean, me personally, I don't think that I would have not necessarily not believed the depth of their commitment or their connection, or in Jamie and Jack's case, the lack of,
right.
But especially in with Blair and David, to watch that their sexual relationship morph.
Right.
That was really important, I thought
it
to the
was.
plot of the story.
I didn't see any way to avoid doing that.
Yep.
Yeah.
To me, she was a woman who was very happy being married to a man.
Mm-hmm.
She just plain was.
Yeah.
She liked sex with him. She thought it was, she got off on it easily. So, why can't I show that?
Yeah, I was just happy you didn't have any money shots or, spreading shit on their chest. And, yeah, because I would have had to put it down for that. But thank you for that.
You didn't want to throw up a little in your
just
mouth?
Enough spooge to make that vomit up.
Exactly. I have a weak stomach when it comes to that. It's one of my weaknesses.
That's just wrong.
Yeah, as I said, I don't put that stuff in just to say neener, neener, neener. Look at me, I can put dick in here. I personally have not experienced the full love of man, so I can't really talk about it in any depth. But my characters have,
Yeah.
So. And if you're going to do it, you gotta go all in.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what she said. Lordy.
Gotta go all in. Actually, when I first started writing, I got more than my share of complaints. I'll tell you.
Did
Yeah,
you?
you did.
Ooh.
Those crazy
I
militant
mean,
lesbians.
you don't really see that. And
Some people were madder than a hornet.
I bet.
Yeah. A lot of people wrote and said, I will never read another one of your books. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but
tough shit.
I'm never going to change,
Dude,
so
piss
that's
off.
probably best.
Wow.
And
Well-
by showing how much Blair did enjoy having sex with David, it really gave a lot more validity to Kylie's insecurities.
Sure.
Yep.
And as readers, we were able to see that and know the depth of Blair's enjoyment and be able to really say, yeah, you're right. You should be a little. You should be a little.
You might want to be a little nervous.
Buy some new toys.
She liked her some dick.
When the bathroom scene,
Oh, that was hot.
Where she takes charge with that little pink and her little toy, that was hot.
That was hot.
Oh! I have to tell you. Okay, I don't think I've ever shared this before, but so I had a Sony e-reader, and I had All That Matters loaded up, and I was right at the scene where they had sex for the first time, which is a really good hot scene. So I had my ebook reader in my bag, and I ran into a store with my kid. I came back, and my bag had been stolen out of my car.
Oh, damn!
And I just always wanted to see the face of the guy that stole my e-reader when he turned it on and started reading where I left off.
And says, "Here you go, honey. I got something for you." Like, what the fuck?
So I've inadvertently exposed your work, someone else to your work. So I hope you get a say on that.
That's awesome.
That's where those new hate mail letters are coming from. From the seas.
And I learned a personal life lesson from Blair.
What's that?
I did. I like her attitude about sex. You know how she likes a little bit
all the time.
All the time,
Oh, yeah.
And that it's not, you don't have to do the whole full blown thing.
Yeah.
All the time. Sometimes just a little bit's good. So I'm thinking, what? I'm going to incorporate
Especially
that.
When you're in a long-term relationship, it's best if you can figure out, sometimes in and out quick's a good idea.
Or in and out quick. Yeah, exactly.
I think Blair had a very good perspective on sex.
Yes, I do too.
Who's your favorite couple from all of your writings?
In terms of the spark between them?
In terms of anything, however you want to define it, who do you like the best?
Well, I guess I can't think of anybody I could know better than Jamie and Ryan, so it's hard not to have them be my favorites, since I've written, 42,000 pages of them?
How much time goes by from the first one to the where you're at
about
now?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. What the hell? 6 weeks.
I'm not off by much. They meet at the beginning of their junior year, and in the book I am just now working on, they've just graduated a month ago.
Oh my God!
So 2 years.
Holy mackerel!
Yeah, not quite 2 years. Isn't that sinful?
That's lovely. I can't wait.
I figured they'd be 30.
Well, they should be around 55, but
They should be around 55.
And they had, one traumatic thing happen in all that time, the carjacking they were involved in. That was a very traumatic thing. But, that really didn't need to take 4,000 pages.
I remember that being, speaking of action sequences. Hello, that was pretty nail biting. Having Ryan on the top of that damn car and it's speeding around, on those hilly roads in San Francisco. I'm like, what the hell? I would have taken a header within
a week
seconds.
In San Francisco plotting that out.
Did you really?
I did. I mean, I was there for other reasons, but yeah, I plotted that whole thing out. I had a car. I drove around. I saw where the curves were.
Damn. Well, a couple of times I'm reading this, it's a nail biter, and I'm going, she hasn't fallen off yet, goddamn. And then, the guy's shooting, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, she's going to get shot. I mean, it was like, wow, you can really write an action sequence even if you've not done them before. This was good.
Thank you. That's my only one.
I liked it.
Yeah, people have said, you can do that, do more. And I'm like, well, I did it. Mm-hmm. I'm not compelled to do more, and they've had enough. They've had enough action, so I'm not going to do any more for them because
they've had their one.
That's
spot.
enough for one couple.
Yeah, I have to say though, it got a little bit long in the tooth how they kept not being able to relate with each other. I guess the aftershock of the whole event.
Yeah,
it was a little bit on the long side, but it was still good.
I don't know if you've ever experienced any trauma.
Yeah, I have. I was
very long,
mugged
really.
at ice pick point in the throat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what that's like.
Fucks you up.
Yeah, but not for as long. I'm just saying.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just
Andy's
saying.
very resilient.
I am resilient. It's true.
But Ryan's not very resilient,
No.
and that's sort of the point.
Yeah.
And the point was also that trauma builds on itself, and she'd had just one too many.
Yeah, that was a rough book.
In my opinion, she got through it actually faster than you would in normal life. And as you can tell from the books, it's I try to make it about normal life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
All right.
just my take.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
But your mileage may vary. And I appreciate that you jumped back from your ice pick in the throat. That sounds more than horrible.
It was pretty frightening, actually.
And if it's not Sharon Stone holding the ice pick,
It's just not worth it. Yeah, no. Yeah, because I stared that bastard in the face, and then he started to get a little extra frisky, and I told him he'd have to kill me first. And that ice pick pulled away from my throat, and he ran off. And then, of course, I promptly turned my car on and drove about 70 miles an hour around this neighborhood trying to find him to run his ass over. But I didn't catch him.
Right.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Yeah, well, I'd have been in jail for murder, probably.
Nah.
you could have been temporarily insane.
Yeah, probably.
That's manslaughter at best.
And you don't, but you know what, Andy? You don't like prison stories.
Yeah,
so,
no. No.
Oh, you're not a prison story for a
No,
person?
don't care for them. I run like they're, got the black plague on them. No, thank you.
I couldn't even talk her into reading Hard Time. Is that the name of Blaine Cooper's?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I couldn't even talk her into that.
Nope.
I like that story.
Yeah, I did too.
But it's pretty
I
dark. It's pretty grim.
It's probably the most of the stuff I've read of hers. She's got a fantastic sense of humor.
She does.
Yeah,
she does.
Yeah, I love her stuff.
I just wish she would write again, but I don't see that happening in the near future.
Oh,
really?
That's a shame.
That is a shame.
Yeah, she's very talented.
She really got off on writing and hearing from people, and it was the community that she liked, I think, the best.
Oh, wow.
And people don't write anymore. People don't keep in touch.
I did. I wrote her and told her I thought she was a goddess.
Oh, that's nice of you.
I actually tried to get her on the show. I didn't hear nothing but crickets. I'm just saying.
I reread Unbreakable at least once a year.
Yeah.
That is also one of my favorites. I love that story.
Good book.
Yeah, and Stranded was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you talk with her, tell her she's still got a big following, and people just suck ass, and she can come on and talk to Andy and find out how much people really love her.
That's right.
Were you guys around at the beginning in the Xenaverse when everybody was online constantly talking about books and?
No, Andy and I came a little late to the
It was ridiculously fun.
Really?
It was such a fun time.
Wow.
You couldn't wait to get home at the end of the day to get online and see who was talking, and it was just.
No, we heard that from Linda Chris too.
Oh yeah, Linda was there in the beginning. It was a real community, and yes, there were lots of fights and infighting, and you could be in a secret little group, or you could be excluded from a secret little group, and all that kind of thing. But that's just what we do.
Wow.
But it was fun.
Do you think that that's kind of disappeared because of either the length of time since the end of the show, or because so many of you are now published, and there's a big difference between in my opinion, the majority of the stuff that's posted online. There are a couple of handfuls of writers that are just really, really, really good. Mm-hmm. And then there are a whole load of authors that are
mediocre,
kind of good and less than
mediocre.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would, if I had to start today and decide what I was going to do, I wouldn't even post If I'm Hissif anymore. The only reason I do it is because I promised I would, but no one writes to me anymore. So I work on a book for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. I post it and I don't get one comment.
What? Really?
It's a little disheartening.
Aww.
Disheartening.
There are still some smaller communities that that are very active, that have they're very small, but they have people that post regularly,
Right.
and they get tons and tons and tons of feedback.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. When I read a book, and there, this is a big difference between the lesbian community and readers of mainstream fiction. I read a book by a woman named Gillian Flynn called Dark Places.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Loved it. Was blown away by it. I sent her an email saying, hey, just want to let you know I stumbled upon your book at the library. I thought it was great. I never heard a fucking word from her.
Wow.
But if I write to, if I write to you, or if I, like I sent an email out to, I think it was Robbie McCoy recently, really enjoyed your book. And she writes back, hey, thanks. Thank you for letting me know. And almost every author, with the exception of one in the lesfic community, that I wrote to and said, hey, just want to drop you a line, let you know you gave me a few hours of entertainment. I really liked your book, blah, blah, blah. They always write me back.
Right.
So, I wonder if most people, I don't think, really consider writing to an author and telling them that they enjoyed their book. Whereas, things that are posted online, that's a bit different. I don't know. I don't know. I would never consider sending Stephen King an email.
Why not?
Because I don't think he cares.
What? Oh, that ain't right.
I'm being honest with you.
I don't know that it's
think that he would care.
Yeah, I don't know that it's that they don't care. It might be that they just don't have enough time to respond to people. A lot of these mainstream, New York Times bestselling authors have handlers.
Yeah,
wranglers. They have people that return emails or send.
Which is exactly why I wouldn't bother.
Yeah, I guess. I don't let anything hamper me. So if I want to send an email, I'm gonna do it. I'm still waiting.
I really don't. You said earlier you wondered why it happened that people are less participative, and I truly don't know. But things slowed down, and then they just stopped about 3 years ago or so.
Huh.
And it might have something to do with the show, but I never wrote anything. I never wrote a real Xena story, so nobody was ever writing to me about show stuff.
Yeah.
So I was always on the outside of that. I don't know. I think it just became more of a business, and people assumed it was a business, and they gave you their $11, so I don't owe you anything more. And they're right. You're buying a book. Your obligation is only to do whatever you want to do with it.
Do you think that there's a lot of Yahoo groups where there are authors that interact directly with readers? There's Facebook and Twitter and things like that.
I had a big group. I had about a couple of thousand people in my group, and I tried and tried to get people to talk. And one day I just got pissed off, and I said, "Closing the group tomorrow," and that one person said, "Don't."
Really?
Wow.
I think like a day after that, a couple of people wrote and said, "What the hell? What are you closing the group for?" But I was like, "No, it's done. It's over."
Wow, that's sad. That's really sad.
It just drove me nuts, and I didn't want to be aggravated at people. Life's too short.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I had just posted a new book, and I got just a couple of people saying, "Oh, cool." And again, you don't have to kiss my ass, but if I'm going to give you months of my work, the least you can do is say thanks, or I liked it, or I didn't like it. I would beg people to tell me what they didn't like.
Wow.
Nothing.
Huh.
Well, usually you don't have to beg for that.
No, usually. I write to people telling them what I don't like all the time, but nobody wanted to write and say what they didn't like.
Damn.
Well, that's too bad.
I try asking questions, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm begging people for feedback. This is just nuts.
Huh.
So I thought, can't do it. So out of all the people that were in that group, there's about 3 who still write to me.
Wow.
People just stopped. They I don't know. I guess they were tired of it. I think if you went to a different community where people were just getting on the bandwagon with a new show or something, there would be that excitement again.
Like
I think you have to. I think it was an ephemeral kind of thing.
Yeah.
And if you were there at the right time, you got caught up in it. And if you weren't, you didn't. And I don't know.
I wonder if there's an active, like, Rizzolian Isles group. Because that seemed to be the most recent new thing.
I'm sure there is.
And I know that there the groups that I sometimes will go and hang out with are Bad Girls, and there are new people, showing up there constantly, but they're very supportive.
Right.
Constantly posting, new chapters of stories and things like that. So I'm sure that there are several, numerous different small communities like that.
It really helps to have something to hang your hat on. So you've got the show, and you can talk about the show, you can talk about episodes, and when new people come in, you can get them up to date on things, and then you can say, well, if you like that, you're going to like this, and the tangents just all line up really well. Mm-hmm. But I guess after the show's been off for a while, and it's just you writing, and people are supposed to be telling you what they like about you, it gets kind of old.
I think that there are probably a lot of people that are feeling the same way, because I've noticed over the last several months that there are a lot of new message boards, just general fem/fanfic message boards popping up. I've noticed at least 3 over the last couple of months, and there's very little traffic, if maybe like a handful of posts, but it seems to me that from watching these trends, that there are a lot of people out there that are feeling the same way, that they're missing that sense of community. As a matter of fact, Rio, who helps run the Xena library and the Conquerors library, had posted on either sent me an email or posted on my message board about are there forums where people just talk about fanfic anymore? Right. Because they don't see any.
Right.
They're the archive sites, and the Athenium has its own message board that's pretty active. But even like Ralst, Rachel, who runs Passion and Perfection, she recently started up a message board. Mm-hmm. So I think there are a lot of people that feel the same way, and they're trying to do something to rekindle that sense of community.
Well, there were thousands of people connected with the Xenaverse. Where'd they all go? They have to be somewhere, and they were very, very vocal. They were very in tune with one another.
I think a bunch of them have their own blogs now and communicate that way.
Maybe, because a lot of people had a lot to say, and maybe they said it all. I don't know. Maybe that was just a moment in time, and once they said what they had to say, they went back and started watching Rizzolian Isles. I don't.
But you got to figure, people, those kind of, activities fill a need, and then, like you said, once they've said what they meant, they went on to have go on to next girlfriend, games they play, next girlfriend.
Right.
So it could just be that
Well, I'm constantly getting new readers, and I can tell that because, I see my sales from Amazon and wherever every month, and I'll see people buying Awakenings, and then I'll see a bunch of sales.
It was me.
That was you. See a bunch of sales of Beginnings, and
that was me too.
And then sometimes people will buy all of them. So you'll see somebody buy every book. After they'll buy Awakenings, and then there'll be a pause, and they'll buy Beginnings through Lifeline. So
I wanted to tell
clearly they're a new reader, because nobody else would feel that they had to buy 12 books at once.
Not necessarily.
No, because I've done that's what I've started doing. I started buying Awakenings and Beginnings and that. But now that I probably won't continue with that. But I think I have every one of your books except for I don't think it's called Girl on Girl, is it?
Girl meets girl, isn't it?
Girl meets girl.
Girl on girl. That works too.
Girl.
Just saying.
Oh, you can use that for the next one.
Maybe I'll use that.
That's awesome.
That book sells remarkably well.
No, that's short stories, right?
It's short stories, but I think people like the cover.
That is a nice cover, yes.
Yeah, I like the Undercover Tales one a little bit more, though.
Yeah.
That's a nice cover, too.
Yeah, I really like that one.
My fiancée does those,
Does she?
She does.
I did not know that. How awesome.
I know.
She's done all your book covers?
Uh-huh.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite is All That Matters, and it doesn't have anything to do with the book.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, stop. Yeah, that's a great book cover, too.
It has a little bit to do with the book because, in my view, the woman has her hands on the other woman's uterus.
Oh, no. I mean, no, the picture is relevant to the book, but I mean, because All That Matters is my favorite book, it's
Right.
not why it's my favorite cover. I just like that cover the best. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And you know what? We haven't given any attention really to Arbor. And I have a friend in Canada who is fairly active on the forum, and she and I every once in a while will just like kind of goad each other about which book is better, All That Matters or Arbor. And she's of the Arbor camp. So
Sometimes it matters if you like kids. You know, a lot of people really like a story about a baby and a pregnancy, and other people just they don't want to read that.
I enjoyed Arbor, but I could not connect with either one of the characters, with Clancy or the older woman. I just could not. I mean, I enjoyed it, but
I could connect with Abby. Clancy I couldn't connect to or with. Yeah.
That's funny. A lot of people write and say they want to marry Clancy.
Aw, really? Is it the tattoo?
I don't know.
it's her socks.
It's those socks. Those colored socks.
She might be my girlfriend's favorite character.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sadly, she's nothing like me, so I don't, I don't know what that says.
Oh, my.
Don't think about it too long.
So
Yeah,
both of these books were set in California. That's when you lived in California.
That's when I lived in California. Yeah, I'm very experimental.
Yeah, I guess
now
so.
my books are all set in New York because I live in New York.
Yeah, I was going to say, I see that moving, happening. Yeah.
I was just we were in London for my fiance's business needs, and we had to be there for a month. And I don't think there was a day that went by that I wasn't thinking of some story I could write. And everybody in my imagination had English accents.
That's
Aw,
awesome, because I love an accent.
cool. I think you should, get going on that, would you?
And
Well, I
the
saw on your
last one I
blog
wrote, Smooth Sailing, I wrote that during a vacation to St. Martin. So wherever I am, that's where I want to write about.
Nice.
I enjoyed that book, but I wouldn't even attempt to pronounce anybody's names.
Oh, Katja Hogeboom.
You had some kind of pronunciation guide for that one.
I had a little
didn't you?
pronunciation guide.
Yeah.
But my friends from the Netherlands tell me that I'm still saying it incorrectly.
Yeah, I enjoyed that book, actually. That was really good.
Yeah, they tell me my Dutch accent is disgustingly bad.
Well, that's one of the benefits of reading something instead of saying it.
I think I did okay on Katja, but they said that I said actually in the book, Katja makes fun of Lori for the way she pronounces her name, and my friends say that I pronounce it that way, that I make it sound like Hug-a-tree. But if you say it properly, it doesn't sound like that at all. So
Yeah.
I
You're the
cannot do
author.
it.
Yeah, that's right. You're the author. You do what you want.
So I could just make fun of myself in the book and
There
then
you
move on.
Yeah,
There you go.
All right. So I think it might be time to play Who Would You Fuck? What do you think?
Oh, right.
One of our listeners is like, are you ever going to do that again? What the hell? I'm like, oh, yeah.
We do it every show.
Well, yeah. Anyway, it might be, are you going to continue to do it? That might have been what it was.
Oh, okay.
I think I was drinking at the time I read it. I'm not drinking now, and I'm not nearly as funny, goddammit. Okay, so... going back to the books. All right, so, of the characters in any books, which one would you most like to just have a one-night tryst with? This is what the question is.
This is me? You're asking me?
I'm asking you.
God. You know what? I don't think I'd write one that I didn't want to do.
Oh, righty then.
Who would I most like to do? Mm-hmm. Or get done by? That's the big question.
That's kind of selfish.
Whatever your pleasure. Whatever works for you.
Yeah, do I want to do or get done?
68. Mm-hmm. All right.
You can tell I've thought about this. I would say Gina Scognamillo from Cherry Grove.
No kidding.
I'm very fond of the Italian woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think she'd be hot.
I think she would be too. She's had a lot of experience too.
She's had a lot of experience. I don't want to have to teach anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Lots of experience. Randy, ready to go. Mm-hmm.
And she's kind of temperamental. She can be fiery.
Fiery. Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that's an awesome choice.
But again, there's no one I've written about that I would turn down.
Yeah. Maybe David.
Clearly, only in my mind.
Okay. All right.
All right. You want to go or you want me to go?
No, you go.
Okay, well, my first choice would be Blair. And then...
Because she was pregnant?
Partially.
Okay.
Yeah, while she's pregnant or after?
Yeah, probably.
Right.
I find pregnant women
Yeah, I do
attractive.
too.
Andy sent me a picture was that last week or the week
It
before?
was probably the week before.
Yeah. Oh,
You're
very
a pregnant
nice.
woman, naked pregnant woman. I thought I felt a little melting going on, but that's okay.
Yeah. It was very nice. But, after rereading The Lies That Bind, I would very possibly pick Aaron.
Wow, nice. Nice one.
Yeah.
Really?
I think, normally I don't go for the dark-haired one, but, she was once she felt comfortable, as she kept saying it, I'm not shy. Once I feel comfortable, and she was, she was kind of aggressive, and I thought she was kind of hot.
And she had a lot of built up.
Yes, she did.
Yeah. It was like pricking a balloon.
Yeah.
The helium started flying out.
Yeah. So I think I'd also possibly.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Andy.
You got to get Blair during the right hormonal period.
Yeah, that would be true.
I'd want her when she wanted a lot.
Yeah, 6, 7. Those are the best months. 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Swoop in, swoop out. That's awesome.
And I would promise not to take any colostrum out of my mouth and examine.
That's kind of a mood killer right there.
You got to kind of be careful when you're with a scientist.
Yeah, no lie. Ain't that the truth? And that's a good segue because I would take the scientist. Yeah, that's who I would go for. Yep.
Yeah.
Kylie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she had a lot going on.
I like Kylie.
Definitely a lot going on.
Yeah. She's awesome, though.
Awesome.
Wow, that was fun. I mean, where else would you get asked who would you fuck? I mean, what other show?
God, I hope not many.
You're probably not.
So are we going to do Marry, Kill, and Fuck, or no?
Marry, Kill, and Fuck? What the hell? Is that a new character? Wait. Is that a new character? Marry, Kill, and Fuck. She's Irish, you know.
She was a teacher of mine.
One of those German nuns.
Good morning,
No, that's
Mrs. Kill,
not.
Fuck.
That's not right.
No, this was our version.
Yeah, this is our version.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Before we wrap it up, I wanted to compliment you on briskpress.com because I've bought many books there, and it's just very direct. You have the site is easy to use, and I love that I can get all of the versions, or all of the formats that I want, and they're I've never had a problem.
Good.
Never had a problem. So thank you very much. I'm always
welcome.
happy to buy directly from you.
We figured that the best thing we had going for us was customer service and making things easy. If you can't do that, you should rethink.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd much rather buy directly from the publisher or an author than give my money to a big box store.
Yep.
Yeah, for most of the books, if sometimes an author will get anywhere from 5 to 20%, and if you sell them yourself, you get more like 75%. So it makes a big difference, and it lets people be able to do this as a hobby, if not as a living.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I went to Amazon because I got some gift cards and I had some money to spend, so I was gonna pick up a couple of your books over at Amazon where I already had money to spend. And then I looked at it, and it was cheaper to buy them. It was like $2 cheaper to buy them directly from you. So I said, I'll use the Amazon money for something else. And, I buy directly from you. I don't have to worry about trying to convert anything to read, in iBooks. You give me all the formats that I need. So, but I didn't want the show to go through because I know there are a lot of people that are really into ebooks right now, and you can get the print books from you directly also. But
we're selling fewer and fewer and fewer print books, and that's just fine with me. I'm more than happy with ebooks.
Yeah, there are a lot. It's really
saves a lot of trees, costs a lot less hassle, fewer ones damaged in the mail.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's instant gratification, which is always good.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah, we really like selling ebooks. I'd say right now we're selling 10 to 15 times print books.
Nice.
Wow. For every print, we're selling 10 to 15 ebooks.
Great.
And we can sell them for less money, which I like. I prefer to make a few dollars off every book. That makes me happy. Just a few.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
So listeners, get over to Brisk Press and get yourself some ebooks.
We also have Georgia Beer's second to last book.
Oh, really?
Which I thought was her best.
Yeah, it was a great book, wasn't it?
Yeah, starting from scratch. I loved that book. Loved it.
Yeah, really good book. She's a very good writer. She was between publishers, and we already had Brisk Press going, so we agreed to distribute it for her. We didn't do the editing or any of that kind of stuff, so we can't take any credit for how good it is. But all we can take credit for is getting it into people's hands.
Nice.
Well, I bought it from Brisk Press, so I give you credit. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Georgia won a Goldie for that, and she won the Goldie for the best or most popular. I forget what the technical term is, but she won for people's favorite book of the year, and I would tend to agree.
Nice.
Yeah, it was just a really, really good book all the way around.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Very good.
Yeah, I haven't read any Georgia Beers yet.
Oh, you better read this one.
I know, I still haven't read. I'll get there. I will. I promise. I have a list. I've got a little list. Oh, no. So this has been a lot of fun.
I've had a very good time.
Yay. So, when your next book comes out, we get a little chance to have you come back on. That'd be great.
Okay. It should be out in a couple of weeks, but that might be a little quick for
okay,
a retread.
All right, maybe a little bit down the road. Okay.
So, what's it called? Sound check. It's not called How to Handle a Woman. It's not. It's just not. It's called sound check.
There's no wrangling involved.
There's no wrangling involved. There's not a cowpoke to be found.
No calves.
It's
no
all
calves, no horses.
Manhattan and Jersey.
Oh, definitely pick up a copy.
Jersey.
Jersey.
Okay, guys. Well, thanks again for having me, and continued good luck on your excellent show.
All right, thank you.
And we'll see you around.
All right.
All right, Susan, thanks.
Thanks.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.